I've been spending my time trying to find as much evidence and information on the Smash 4 DLC Ballot as I possibly can, as I think a lot of us are doing, because it all seems to be lining up with what we're getting in Smash Ultimate. Now, when you look at character assist trophies, we know that Bomberman, Crystal, and Knuckles are all being added in as assist trophies. And while some people are saying Knuckles is an assist trophy because Shadow's going to be a Echo Fighter or a clone character of Sonic, it doesn't exactly have me convinced because I know that Knuckles is a somewhat popular choice in the fan ballot, and it kind of just made sense to add Knuckles in for other reasons, including the fact that you can fight assist trophies now. When it comes to Crystal, there's no reason to go back and add Crystal in as an assist trophy. There's already a Star Fox assist trophy character. Now, there can, of course, be more than one character from Star Fox as an assist trophy, but adding in Crystal, where was she in the last few games? It's not like there was a new game featuring Crystal. It seems like Sakurai went back and picked her because she was popular in the Smash Bros. Ballot as a playable character, and they wanted to at least give some fans something. They say, okay, Crystal's really not important or popular enough. She's not even really a part of the mainline Star Fox series anymore, and maybe never was. Everything's kind of iffy with Crystal. She came from a weird Star Fox game. But there are fans for Crystal, and I would say she's definitely in the Waluigi realm of popularity and deserves to be in the game somewhere. And assist trophy to me seems good enough. I'm sorry if Crystal fans want more. I would understand that they would want more. If I was a big fan of her, I would want more too. I want Zero to be playable in the game, and it's probably not going to happen. But man, a Zero assist trophy would just make me cream my jeans, and I would be totally okay with that. So sometimes you take what you can get. Of course, also Bomberman was added as an assist trophy, which is good. And I know some people might say they could have easily made him a character. I don't think Bomberman is at that level of popularity yet. And I also don't think that Bomberman has the best moveset potential. Maybe if Bomberman grows even more in popularity, and there's some fan demand for it, it could be a character later down the line. But I would kind of doubt it. It would have to probably be in a sequel, and I don't think a Smash sequel is coming anytime soon. I think the next Smash game will be back to a long development cycle, a long break. Sakurai will maybe make another Kid Icarus game in between. We'll have to see what happens. But either way, I'm not thinking something like that will happen. I'm thinking these characters who are popular for the ballot were assist trophies. However, Knuckles, Bomberman, Crystal, these are not top tier super front runners of the Smash ballot. These are characters like I voted for Knuckles. I knew a lot of people who voted for Bomberman, and I know out there in the world there's a lot of Star Fox fans who like Crystal. So I get it, but I don't think by any means that these guys were the front runners. And trying to find information on the ballot is kind of hard and kind of disingenuous in some cases. I looked at a result for a fan ballot where only fans of a certain Reddit community voted, and number one was Shantae and number two was Shovel Knight. And to me, I just didn't understand. While I really want Shovel Knight in the game, and I know that Shantae has a lot of demand behind her and probably has more popularity and demand even than Shovel Knight, though I never played a Shantae game, and they just look unappealing to me because they look so basic and generic. They don't look exciting or cool at all. It just seems like she has a really good character design. But for me personally, I don't want Shantae in the game at all. I don't think she deserves to be in there in any capacity. Maybe as an assist, or maybe not even assist trophy, just as a trophy you can collect. And to be honest, I kind of think Shovel Knight's in that same category. I don't know if I'm ready for indies to be in the main game unless these indies are planning to stick around and be big time mainstream game characters that change the landscape. And for me personally, Shantae doesn't fit that category and Shovel Knight does. And so, even though Shantae's popular, I think that Shantae fans should be satisfied with Shovel Knight because at least we're getting an indie rep. And if you don't think Shovel Knight's the strongest case, I don't know what you're possibly smoking. Now, Source Gaming has a result for the ballot that seems to be pretty early on into the ballot cycle because Roy is one of the choices. And as we know, Roy was going to be added into the game much before anyone else or whatever. we like Roy was planned to be in the game. Probably we don't know how early, but we do know that basically right sometime after they announced Lucas, there was already data in Smash Four to make room for Lucas's character slot, and when they did that, there was evidence for Lucas, Roy, and Ryu being added in the game. People data mined it, and it turned out to be 100% true. And it was so true that when they announced Ryu and Roy, they were out like right then and there. But nonetheless, in this ballot that Source Gaming has, and I will definitely put a link in to show you guys if you guys want to check it out yourself. And see the span of time it's taken. You know, again, some of these are not going to be 100% accurate, and some of these choices kind of seem disingenuous, but they're claiming these are choices from Japan. And when I looked up global ones, global voting things, polls, or whatever this was of the ballot, it seemed like the answers were literally identical to the Japanese one. And so I'm not sure what the global answers were. I'm not sure how to find what North Americans thought, which would be interesting because America and Canada is like their own atmosphere, separate from the UK, and then in England or in Europe and all that. So I mean, apparently Bayonetta did really well in Europe, but there's no real easy way to figure out how well she did and who else did well in Europe. But I guess the point is that Bayonetta did well, and the ballot idea was like, just say some ideas and see what Sakurai likes. It wasn't like Sakurai would put in the guy who won. He was just like looking at the ideas to say who would be really interesting and really good. And I think out of all of them, he liked Bayonetta the most. And I know Bayonetta did do well in all regions. But basically, I mean, I was excited and so happy to see Bayonetta. I thought that was a great choice. Maybe not the best, most perfect choice, but to me, I enjoyed that they were possibly saving Inkling and maybe other villain characters like King K. Rool for later. And I have a friend who's really, really wants King K. Rool, and besides him, I don't hear that much besides just like random YouTubers and random people online. And I always just kind of figured it was disingenuous to like King K. Rool so much because he appeared in the Donkey Kong Country games, and I love Country 1 and 2. Don't get me wrong. 3's pretty good too, honestly. And 64 is like, it's okay. I don't think it's Rare's best work, but it's definitely a all right 3D platformer. I've played a lot worse 3D platformers. I'm looking at you, Croc, and I think that King K. Rool, the idea of putting him in just because Bowser and Ganon and Wolf are in the game, it's like whatever. Like we don't need villains just to have villains. We don't need villains of the popular main character series, because then it's only a matter of time before we just start putting in villains from every game, and it's like some of the villains are not iconic or that big of a deal. Like I wouldn't want a mainstream villain from Kid Icarus, but luckily we have Dark Pit, and when it comes to Star Fox, we don't have like Andross, we have Wolf. So I like the idea of certain villain characters who are like rivals and certain villain characters who are like the big boss. So there is something interesting there with that concept. So, and I think with Ridley, Ridley's not really the. I mean, it's hard to say with Ridley. Ridley's the final villain in like some of the games, but he's more like a rival to Samus. Because like Mother Brain is an assist trophy in Smash Bros, and that's like the final boss from the first Metroid on NES. So it gets weird. Like, who is really the big bad boss of Metroid? Well, we do know that Ridley is probably Samus's greatest rival and greatest enemy. So whoever the big bad villain is of every game or whatever, Ridley's really important to Metroid as a whole. He's in almost every game, so might as well just put Ridley in the game. And I think that was the best choice for a villain from Metroid. And the funny thing is that King K. Rool is actually the highest most requested character according to Source Gaming from Japan. This is percent of the top 50, so which means like they looked at all the top 50 characters, and the funny thing is like Knuckles is in the very bottom, and it's like, oh, I voted for Knuckles. But you got a lot of the characters on this list are straight up veteran characters like Wolf, Roy, Snake, Ice Climbers. Who else is on here? Pichu's on here. So it's like people wanted all the characters come back. That was a very popular thing to vote for on the Smash ballot. And for me personally, I really wanted to see Wolf return, and part of me wanted to see Snake come back, but I just didn't know if it would be worth voting for it. And I'm so glad he's back. I think enough time is settled after the Kojima fiasco to where, and also I think Konami's starting to save its face a little bit now, getting away from pachinko machines. And sadly, Metal Gear Survive is a fucking disaster, but hopefully eventually we can get something cool from the Metal Gear series. And Snake and Smash, just like Mega Man and Smash, these are signs of something good. Ever since Mega Man was put in Smash, it seemed like Mega Man was getting more life pumped into him through Capcom. It's like Capcom just didn't know people wanted it, I guess. But hopefully, with Snake being put in Smash, and of course, Konami doesn't like reject Snake or hate Metal Gear Solid or anything. I just don't know if they know what direction to take it in right now. So hopefully we see something good. I know some people just want to see a nice, solid remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 with PS4 graphics. Honestly, that would be fucking fantastic. And if you could put it on the Switch as well, I think a lot of people would be really happy about that, especially Nintendo fans who keep playing as Snake in Smash Bros. But have yet to play a Metal Gear Solid game. So let's, and give them the best one, or maybe the Switch version comes with a port of Twin Snake or something like that. Something just to tie the fans over, or something. Kind of like how Bayonetta 1 and 2 are always together. That could be cool too. But either way, like I said, Ice Climbers are on this list right under like Snake, which is under, not too far under Roy and Wolf, who are popular past characters. So the fact those are really high up there. But the character that trumped them all, the character who's above them all, and including Ridley. Ridley is not that popular in Japan. Ridley is actually way more popular here in North America than it is over there in Japan. Ridley's on the list, don't get me wrong, but he's ranked 21 of the 50. He's under Pichu, for crying out loud, and yes, under Bayonetta, yes, under Cloud. So, yeah, I think that when it comes to the top character, it's King K. Rool. It's King K. Rool. And considering that Sakurai bit the bullet and added in Ridley, it made me think, well, he's probably not going to do that for every character. He's probably not going to bite the bullet for every single character. I'm starting to look at some of the costumes that were Mii costumes in Smash 4. I'm taking a long look at them. Gino is also on this list, and he is number 9. That's pretty high. He's mostly under Inkling, King K. Rool, and a bunch of veteran characters that are already confirmed to be in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Because of this, it makes me think that Gino actually has a strong chance, stronger than ever. And I thought that if he was put in Brawl, then that was the perfect time. Because in Brawl, a lot of the new characters weren't like game-changing. They were just characters that kind of fit and worked in the Smash Bros. Format. Smash 4 is when new characters became really radical, really game-changing, actually bringing something new to the table. And I think Sakurai had a really good vision when he was making some of these new characters in Smash 4. I don't think that every character needs to be like this. I don't think that every new character in Smash Bros. Ultimate needs to be someone who is like high-flying, insane, game-changing, radical, possibly OP like Cloud and Bayonetta were. Like, I don't think every character needs to be like that, but it's not up to me to decide. It's up to Sakurai to decide. So I'm hoping that Sakurai can just find a way to make King K. Rool interesting. And I feel like between his boss battle appearances from Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3, as well as Donkey Kong Country 64, I think there's definitely enough of a moveset there to make a generic, good, heavier fighter. But what I'm not sure of is how it will be interesting or game-changing. But considering the character's so popular, maybe you should just think about making something work. And they could easily do something if they want to bring in his henchmen as possible moves. Lots of other characters, like Peach uses her henchman, Toad. DDD used to throw Waddle Dees and Waddle Doos, as well as the Spike guys. I can't remember their names right now. And now he only throws the Spike Balls in in Smash 4, and I'm pretty sure in Ultimate as well. So lots of characters use their henchmen, and King K. Rool would be another character who would make sense to have henchmen. Not every villain or king or monarch or leader character needs to have henchmen. Obviously, Ganondorf doesn't have henchmen, but when it comes to and Ridley doesn't use like henchmen, even though they could have given him like bounty hunter characters. But with King K. Rool, it might be more fitting for King K. Rool as he does have a massive army. One thing that I like about Donkey Kong Country is that some of the soldiers in the first Donkey Kong Country actually wear like army helmets, like from Vietnam. And then there's characters in the in Donkey Kong Country 2. A lot of the characters are based off pirates because it's like the game's got like a pirate theme going for it. So I think King K. Rool would be a great addition. It would be insane to me to see so much Donkey Kong representation and get King K. Rool and Dixie Kong, but Dixie is 15 on this list, under characters like Ashley, under characters like Paper Mario and Banjo-Kazooie. I think Banjo-Kazooie makes sense behind the list, and I don't think he's coming to Ultimate. I think that if there's a case for him, it'll be in DLC, and I think it'll be after a lot of long talks with Microsoft. And like I already made a video about why it's really not there's no positive for Nintendo to really add Banjo-Kazooie in because everyone's going to buy Smash Ultimate anyway. I mean, the people who are going to keep Smash Ultimate alive are going to be the competitive players, and so for them, there's really the idea of having like they're not the people who play Smash Ultimate or people play Smash competitively don't care about characters. There's a reason why they play Melee, okay? Because they just care about game feel and gameplay, and so to them, I think new characters, it's cool for whatever passing moment, but there's a point where when you're playing Smash, it's just any other fighting game. It's not just a Nintendo collection game. So for them, it's like, yeah, they're just playing any other fighting game. They just want to play something that with characters that kick ass, work well, and a fun game. So to them, I don't think they're going to be impressed with something like DLC like Banjo-Kazooie. And I also don't think that, but Sakurai never really appeals to them anyway. He always appeals to the casual audience. But again, I feel like the casual audience they're just going to play anything that's new. Okay? Because the casual audience doesn't need anything that crazy. They'll buy the game because it's new. The idea that no one's, if you're a Banjo-Kazooie fan, you're probably also a fan of like 75% of the other characters represented in Smash. So the idea that you're like not getting your dream game, so you're not going to buy it, it's not realistic to me. So I feel like Nintendo has no risk to not include Banjo-Kazooie and kind of more risk to include them. However, because the relationship with Microsoft seems to be like remarkably good right now, and because they kind of like to just please the players and make everyone happy, and Microsoft also seems to be putting more of their first parties on PC, like they're saying, hey, we don't really care as much anymore, and we promote crossplay. And they put Minecraft, they own Minecraft, and they put it on every console, including PlayStation. So, it's like, it just doesn't matter anymore. It's like maybe Banjo-Kazooie could happen in Smash, but I highly doubt it's going to happen for a character coming out on day one. DLC is a maybe, and as of right now, I don't think Sakurai is even really talking about it right now. I think that he knows it's a thing that people want, but I don't think he's going to try to make those dreams come true. And if he's going to, he hasn't started yet. What else we got? It does seem like Shadow is high on this list, a lot higher than Knuckles is. So I'm hoping that is a good sign that he might be a Echo Fighter. I really hope so. Besides that, Chrom and Zero are on this list, and boy, would Zero be so cool. I love Zero, and I think a lot of people love Zero. This actually says Mega Man Zero, that's really cool, because that would mean if they did potentially put Zero in the game, they could possibly give him two skins. One that makes him look like he's from Mega Man Zero, and one that makes him look like he's from Mega Man X. However, if it changed the looks too much, then they'd probably go with just the normal Zero version. But Mega Man Zero would be cool, but I don't know, it might be a little too far out there for the mainstream public. So yes, while Zero is like my number one character for something I personally want, that has nothing to do with the realm of possibility, I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm not exactly sold on the idea that third-party characters will have two representatives of the same game. To me, it just doesn't make sense for Nintendo to do or care about. It would to me it would only make sense if they just wanted to get characters out. Just they wanted just to get more characters in the game. But Smash Ultimate doesn't seem to be coming out with a ton of newcomers so far. And part of me thinks it's because Sakurai just wants to get the game out at a good time. And he wanted to more focus on bringing back everyone and retuning, refining, making the perfect game, and then adding more characters on top of that through DLC. Now, most fighting games, they get the game out, and they make like the game good and solid, but the game comes with like 10 fucking characters. I'm looking at Street Fighter 5. I'm looking at Fighting Layer EX. It sometimes these things happen with fighting games, and it fucking sucks. Other times you get games with giant rosters of characters, like Injustice 2, and then they just add on more and more characters. And so with this one, it's hard to be upset that the possibility of a lot of new characters will be exclusively as DLC when so many when every character from the past is coming in. But to me, the fact that they added in 3 new characters and they're kind of odd choices, like Daisy and Inkling, and Inkling makes perfect sense, but there's got to be more than just Inkling. If you're going to make the whole point of the game that it's every character from Smash plus Inkling, it's got to be more. And of course they added in Ridley, which to me, again, it's like that's not enough. I feel like there's the goal. If your goal of the game is to make every character from the past game back, then that would just be the goal. But that's not the goal, because they've brought in Inkling and Ridley and then made a new Echo Fighter with Daisy. And I'm thinking at least one more Echo Fighter. Some people are saying there'll be a shit ton of new Echo Fighters. I'm thinking maybe at least one more. I don't think there'll actually be a shit ton. And as of right now, I'm kind of thinking the Echo Fighter they'll go with will be like Dark Samus. And to me, that's kind of crazy. And the second most likely would probably be like Chrom. But I'm hoping like 3 Echo Fighters, because I think people are kind of getting the idea that it's just fun and there's just more characters. But as long as they add in enough new characters, I don't think people will be mad about Echo Fighters. Look at Melee. Melee had a ton of clone characters, but no one really cared because Martha's in it. So it's hard to care. What else we got on this list? Of course, Sora is up on here, and I don't think Sora is going to be in the game. It's just too much legality involved. While I'm sure that Disney would okay it, the fact that they have to get Disney to okay it is kind of like, ugh, my gosh. Again, I don't think they'll care. In fact, I think Disney would be more than happy to be included in Smash, but think about the problem is that it probably wouldn't be just Sora. It would be, and of course if Sora's added in, they'd have to do a Kingdom Hearts map, and it's like it wouldn't just be Sora. Disney would want like items, like how Namco got items in Smash 4. Disney would want like fucking representation out the dick, and it's like it's not worth it. Especially because Kingdom Hearts is like again, it's like Cloud is enough. It's like you don't even need to represent Kingdom Hearts because all the Kingdom Hearts fans are also Final Fantasy fans, and everyone loves Cloud and Kingdom Hearts. So Cloud is like enough. Honestly, it's enough. So there's no point in doing that. There's Klonoa is on this list, which is just kind of fascinating to me. I'm happy, don't get me wrong. I'm glad Klonoa is on this list, but Klonoa is not happening. And Klonoa is Namco. Klonoa is Namco. But the thing is, I bet you a lot of people have to look up who Klonoa is. And that's kind of your indication as to why Klonoa is not happening. Ryu's on this list, which is pretty cool. At least that means Ryu wasn't just pulled out of Sakurai's ass. And then, of course, yeah. So Galactic Knight is on the list, and Galactic Knight is a character going to be a costume for Meta Knight. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a 1-to-1 costume for Meta Knight, but it's going to be a variation of Meta Knight's colors that are very clearly supposed to be Galactic Knight, and that is total fan service. And it's like Sakurai is looking at these ballot numbers, and he knows who the fans want. And I think if he's going to go ahead and do Ridley, then he's going to take a long, hard look at King K. Rool as well. And the reason is I don't think King K. Rool is going to be put in the game because he's the winner of the ballot in Japan. Because first of all, that's not even exactly accurate. We can't say so for sure. I don't think King K. Rool is going to be put in the game just because he won. It's what the fans want. It's what the fans of Japan want. It's what the fans of the whole world want. I don't think that's why. Because that's still just the majority. And it's not about pleasing the majority. However, if Ridley is being put in the game just because of fan demand, Ridley was not the most demanded fan character. He's this character that people have been saying they want in the game, and then when they're told, nah, Ridley can't be in the game because he's too big, they're just fucking angry because that doesn't even make sense. Because Bowser and Olimar are scaled to the proper size. They're scaled to a size that makes sense for the game. And so with Ridley, it's like he could totally be scaled down. It would be fine. But that was what they were always told. So it was infuriating because it was like that just didn't seem like a good enough excuse. And now we're getting a very hunched over Ridley, so that way he's still really big, but scaled down to a different size. Because you have to also understand that Samus is kind of a tall, big character in Smash. And I think that's really why. Because Ridley's got to be big compared to Samus. Because Bowser's still kind of big compared to Mario. But, if you make Ridley the same size as Samus, then it really just doesn't make any damn sense. And I see why it took Sakurai a while to turn over on that. But when it comes to King K. Rool being the most popular choice, and the fact that we're putting in another villain from Metroid, and the fact that Wolf has returned, it's like this is the villain's game. Okay, this is a game for villains, right? And I think that King K. Rool, because of Ridley being included, and because King K. Rool has always been requested right alongside Ridley, and because Donkey Kong is becoming kind of more popular right now, and Nintendo seems to be enjoying their use of the Donkey Kong license a lot more now that Rare has nothing to do with it. You have to remember that they basically just made bongo games during the GameCube and Wii lifespan. Now we finally have real Donkey Kong country games that are classical platformers, and they always review well, and people seem to really enjoy them. I think King K. Rool might have a possible chance, despite the fact that he's not in those games. And that's why I've always been kind of skeptical of King K. Rool. He's just not in the Wii games. But that doesn't mean anything. Because if they put him in Smash, that means he could be in the next one. Because that would make him a popular villain again. Smash makes things happen. Smash doesn't look at the world around it. Smash puts in the stuff that Sakurai just wants to put in, and it makes things popular. Smash is the reason why we have Fire Emblem in North America and in Europe. Smash is the reason why we have Fire Emblem. Smash is the reason why Wolf is so popular in Star Fox. Smash is the reason why Greninja and Lucario have retained popularity in Pokemon, and why they're probably not going anywhere, and how they're probably going to always be popular in Pokemon. Smash is the reason for the season, my friends. Smash is possibly part of the reason why Luigi is so weird in Mario Kart. Because Luigi is so fucking weird in Brawl, and so fucking weird in Smash 4, that he's just always going to be weird from now on. In fact, he was even kind of weird in 64 and Melee. That's just always been the way Sakurai interpreted it, just making Luigi kind of weird. And now, here he is, still being weird. And while people want Waluigi, I think Sakurai is confused because Luigi's already weird. Why do you need another weird guy? We already have Luigi. And nothing beats Luigi. Waluigi kind of forces Luigi to fit in a more narrow, tighter, and less fun box. However, in Smash, the possibility of having a bunch of characters being really wacky and weird from Mario, I mean, why not? Daisy's kind of the polite, nice one. So add in Waluigi to be super crazy. Why not? So, do I think Waluigi has a chance? Hey, that's not what this video is about. But I should note that Paper Mario is shockingly high on this list. Now, I knew Paper Mario was really popular here in North America. I'm not exactly sure about UK, but it seems like UK also loves the hell out of Paper Mario games. And I think people want Paper Mario. And the funny thing is that I normally always say Paper Mario has no damn chance. I always say this. Paper Mario just would not work. He just wouldn't work. And that's too many Marios. Paper Mario, Dr. Mario, Super Mario. Like, why so many fucking Marios, man? Would he count as a Mario character or a Paper Mario character? He's not from the main Mario line of games. Paper Mario is just Mario, but his moveset is different. You know, Paper Mario is just literally Mario, but he's in a game that's based around RPG. It's not as if Paper Mario is a separate entity or different person. The thing is that Paper Mario is kind of like an alternate universe to regular Mario, especially when you get to the crazy stuff like Super Paper Mario on the Wii. Be- Paper Mario always gets representation in Mario thanks to trophies, and in 3DS's case, a stage. But I don't know. I don't know. I go back and forth, but the thing is, if they made an actual new fighter based on Paper Mario, the possibilities are so endless. They're so good. The possibilities for a Paper Mario character would be awesome. Especially if they decide to go straight up 2D like Mr. Game & Watch. But instead of making him move like a Mr. Game & Watch character where he's always sliding and has very little frames on purpose, they could make him fight more fluid and fight way more like how he should. I think a cool touch would be if he turned around, it would show his backside or something. So if he faces left, faces right, his model's different, or like his model's always the same, but it's literally a flat model of a picture of a character. And you could also then make some of his attacks like his recovery attack into the paper airplane or something like that. And have some of his attacks be transforming attacks, have other attacks be like his hammer and his jump and stuff like that. I think the reason why he won't be playable, though, will be because I already said he is just literally Mario in an alternate universe. Even though he plays completely differently and he's based around an RPG setup, he's not exactly Mario. However, like he's not exactly a different guy. He's still Mario. However, if he's going to get in any game, this is his time. I really didn't see him as a lot of people who I'm not seeing as viable characters that people have always wanted. I feel like these are kind of more viable now in Smash 4. And Inkling, Inkling's high on the list, but come on, dude. Inkling was obvious. Of course they're going to add Inkling in. Splatoon is so popular. It's a new Nintendo IP. If they're going to add in Olimar in Brawl, then of course they're going to add Inkling here. I mean, of course they're going to add Inkling here. So that to me, that's obvious. But then you look at King K. Rool. You look at Bandana D. You look at Paper Mario. You look at Geno. I think that if they put Geno in, then fans of Paper Mario won't even care because, hey, we got Geno from Super Mario RPG. That's pretty fucking cool. But I think there's actually a chance that we could get both. And I really think that Bandana D, while he's really cool, again, it's not about who's the highest winner. It's about who Sakurai notices. And Bomberman, Knuckles, and Crystal were definitely on this list, and they're definitely assist trophies now. It's about who Sakurai notices. I think Shadow has a chance of being an Echo. I think Chrom has a slight chance of being an Echo. Honestly, I would really like that. I think that besides just those two as Echoes, I think that Paper Mario has kind of like a chance. We'll say he has like, we'll say he has like a 40% chance. Next, after that, I would say Bandana D has like a 50% chance. Honestly, I could see it going either way, but I'm not super confident in that. But I also think that he has a moveset clearly there, already waiting to happen, and I think people like him. I think he's got a fan base, and I think Kirby Star Allies is doing really well. And the fact that he's in both games kind of bodes well for him. Then when you look at Geno, I think Geno has like a 60% chance. I think that he's best chance he's ever had. I don't think I've ever would say he had a 60% chance. I would say he had a low chance, but man, it would be cool if Sakurai did it. And that's how I always thought since Brawl when I really wanted him, and I really wanted him in Smash 4 as well. And I don't think it's going to happen, but he was a Mii costume in Smash 4 Wii U, and I think that that bodes really well for him. I think that The fans know. I think the fans want it. He knows the fans want it. And I think that it could be a really cool character from Nintendo's past that's kind of forgotten about. He could make up, sometimes those characters from Nintendo's past, characters forgotten about, like Ice Climbers, like Pit. Yes, we have Kid Icarus Uprising now, but Pit was kind of redesigned for Brawl before Kid Icarus Uprising even came out. So I do think that, you know, as far as like new characters and old characters, I think that Geno might just work as a character that fans might have forgotten about. However, he is on Super Mario RPG, which is in the Super Nintendo Classic, so maybe this is a good time. Maybe this is the best time to put Geno in the game. Now, Square Enix owns Geno technically, but because Cloud's in the game, I see no reason why Square Enix would fight this or say no, not Geno. I feel like putting Geno in the game is possibly part of the negotiations because he's already a Mii costume in Smash 4. I think Geno's got a real chance. My only factor here on why I don't think he has a higher percent chance is because if we're talking about a moveset that works, Geno has a moveset that fucking works. If we're talking about a moveset that completely changes the game, well, that depends on how many other elements from Mario RPG or other moves that don't belong to Geno that Sakurai is willing to give Geno. But maybe, possibly, there's something there. But I think, so far, I don't know. I don't know. But Sakurai, he randomly put Great Cave Offensive in Smash 4 as a map, so I don't see why he wouldn't just go back and pick a random game from Super Nintendo era or really any era and not say this is a viable thing to put in the game. It seems like it's not always about the newest thing for Sakurai. It's about good ideas and what would work the best. I think that's really how Sakurai operates. He's just trying to think of cool and good ideas. So I think Geno has a high chance, but not super high chance. I think it's just above average. I think it's above 50%. I think this is Geno's probably best chance to get in the game. Then when it comes to King K. Rool. King K. Rool, to me, makes so much sense. He does have potential to be game-changing. He does have potential to be in the game higher so because of Ridley. It feels so weird to say King K. Rool has like an 80% chance. But because Ridley is in the game, and because he is number one in Japan, and because he is well represented and well voted for in the entire global of Smash Bros. Fandom, I think King K. Rool's chance is very high. I do think it is probably about an 80% chance. And another factor about this is that he didn't show it off or hint at it yet, but there's plenty of time to do so, and they could do it with a Donkey Kong centered and themed trailer, sort of like the Ridley trailer. And it could be played off like this is possibly a new Donkey Kong game, or possibly as if this is DLC for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on Switch. They could do a lot of stuff. They could try to do a cool surprise twist with the video. Basically, the second I see any Donkey Kong cinematic video, I'm going to just assume King K. Rool is confirmed right then and there. I'm going to say it out loud, King K. Rool is in the game. But I do think that King K. Rool's chance is really high. And I wonder, I will think this to the very end. Even on day one when the game is out, I will try beating the game as Donkey Kong, and I will look to see if he's hidden in the game somewhere, and they just didn't announce King K. Rool as a playable character. Because I think he's in there, I think he's in there and out there. Just like I think Balloon Fight might be in the game, and he might not be announced, Or same with Excitebike. I think there might be another classic retro character. I think that, yeah, I definitely think so. So, King K. Rool, I'm saying, is probably my top pick right now for likely characters that actually make sense. And Gino is not too far down. I think Gino's up there too. I think King K. Rool actually is more likely than Simon Belmont. And I know that might be blowing some people's minds right now because everyone seems to think Simon Belmont is the most likely choice right now. But to me, yeah, I'm thinking King K. Rool is possibly more likely than Simon Belmont. And I'm not someone who's. I thought King K. Rool's chance of Smash 4 was like 10%. You know, I didn't think he was going to be in the game. And then when the DLC stuff came out, I definitely didn't think he was going to be in the game. I just don't think Nintendo cares about King K. Rool, but I think they're going to have to be forced to care. And the fact that he was an assist trophy really gets me thinking. Really gets me thinking. So we'll have to see what happens. There's still so much time, and it might even be like 2 months before we get another video about Smash. So, I mean, might be time to just stop thinking about it so much. But I do want to have some videos out. I want to talk about some of my philosophy ideas with Smash, kind of like how I talk about the story modes in fighting games. I kind of want to talk about why I used to use items in Smash and why I don't use them now. And I think my reason will be a little bit different than some of you are expecting. Because I'll say this, it's not because I'm a super competitive player, because I play Smash to have fun. I play one-on-one with my friends, sure, but there's other times when I play not one-on-one and items are still off. So I want to make a video about that. And I also want to make more focused videos about one particular character here and there, kind of like how I did with the Shadow the Hedgehog video. So I will be talking about Smash more before the next video. But of course, the next video will probably change my entire thinking of the subject. For now, let's just keep waiting for more news on Smash. Keep watching the weekly updates. The daily updates that come out every week. But you can just watch Game Explained for the weekly update. And yeah, I doubt anything new or crazy will be announced there because nothing. Every character that's prior has already been announced. So there's no room for like little tiny announcements. It's more like we're going to get mostly big announcements. So probably will be just more little stuff like songs and details on specific characters that might give us more of an insight of how they're going to play. But it seems like most of that information has been already revealed during E3. So I think right now we just need to wait for the next video, which will probably be in like 2 months from now. Best bet will be sometime in August, but it'll probably be sometime in September. Not that big a deal. We'll just have to wait and see what we get, and hopefully it's something good. Yeah, so check it out. We'll have to just wait it out.